And it is for that reason that it is in the best interest of our nation, including our national security, to invest in our HBCUs.
And I say to my Republican friends, take back your party. The country needs a big, strong Republican Party. Here I say that as a leader in the Democratic Party, but we need a big, strong Republican Party. You've done so much for our country.
Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the channel. So it means a lot to me if you folks can subscribe to my channel. The good news is this: Democrats are with a $3.5 trillion spending package that will boost funding for social programs and raise taxes, despite rumblings from Senator Joe Manchin. And he said that he might not support legislation with that price tag. Democratic leaders are betting that they can pressure Manchin to back down on his push for spending that's closer to $1.5 trillion or $2 trillion. So yes, folks, Senator Joe Manchin wants to lower the spending on infrastructure, and it seems to me that he does not want to help out the American people by sending out a fourth stimulus check. What are your thoughts on Joe Manchin, everybody? Feel free to tell me in the comments below.
Today, instead of 50% of the elderly being poor, the number is too high, but it's down to 10%. And we're doing all of that at a very modest administrative cost.
So the Senate and House committees are scrambling to reach consensus on sections of the so-called Human Infrastructure Bill under their jurisdictions by Friday. Progressive activists have warned that if a bill falls below $3.5 trillion, it will be faced with significant backlash.
Parents were telling what the difference the paychecks made, the Biden tax credits made, July, August, next week, September 15th, the third check will go out.
And according to multiple sources, Joe Manchin will not support a package that exceeds $1.5 trillion. And that's a number the West Virginia Democrats floated earlier this year. Manchin's office on Wednesday declined to confirm that $1.5 trillion is a red line for him, but the figure is in line with previous comments. Manchin told ABC News this week that he would not support a large spending package if Congress could only come up with enough revenue and savings to offset the cost of a $1.5 trillion bill. So we're gonna have to see, folks, if President Biden can unite Democrats and the Republicans in getting more stimulus payments sent out. In fact, everybody, Bernie Sanders is saying this. Bernie Sanders has primary jurisdiction over the reconciliation process and says that the spending target agreed to by congressional Democrats already represents a significant compromise with moderates. Sanders told reporters the overwhelmingly majority of members of the Budget Committee think a good 80% or more of Democratic members of the Senate supported a $6 trillion bill. Bernie Sanders argues that $3.5 trillion is what needs to be spent on transforming the nation's energy economy to address climate change and deal with the needs of the working class. And then he added this: to my mind, this bill at $3.5 trillion is already a major compromise, and at least the bill should be $3.5 trillion. So folks, we have Bernie Sanders that wants to have more spending done, while Joe Manchin is not. What are your thoughts on Bernie Sanders, everybody? Do you support Bernie Sanders, folks? Tell me in the comments below. Now folks, the second Golden State stimulus is what California is calling a second round of stimulus payments. It ranges anywhere from $500 to $1,000, and it'll be going up by mail or direct deposit through the end of the year. Residents who have already filed their 2020 tax return in California should start seeing payments hitting their bank accounts. One difference now is the AGI has gone up from $30,000 to $75,000, giving more Californians this opportunity to collect another stimulus check. Democrats in Congress are pushing ahead with a $3.5 trillion spending plan. This will help out with healthcare like Medicare and childcare support, as well as many other things. Party leaders are now hoping to see the annual budget process to push through the massive broadening of the nation's social safety net envisioned by President Biden in his American Rescue Plan and his Build Back Better plan. Thank you for watching, everybody. Until next time, have a great day and stay safe.
As Representative Dean had mentioned earlier, we had just experienced devastating floods for which my district was ground zero in New York City on the floods from Hurricane Ida. And this has been a travesty in my district. We have lost 12 people in these floods, and The connection here is that in almost every person lost to the floods, it was related to our housing crisis. The lack of available housing stock and the fear of eviction has existed even prior to and that has only made it worse, to the point that people are seeking alternatives to the housing stock that are often dangerous. Now, that being said, speaking about those longstanding inequities, many low-income renters struggle to make ends meet even before and with the lapsing of unemployment, the striking of the eviction moratorium, all of these things have placed renters in an even more perilous position. We've discussed about some of the difficulties, and the committee has addressed some of the difficulties in state implementation, but I also want to talk a little bit about the difficulties in getting these funds out with a small segment, the segment of landlords who are refusing to participate in emergency rental assistance. Now, Ms. Yentl, is there evidence that lack of tenant participation is a widespread problem for the emergency rental assistance program?
I have not seen any evidence or data to show that there's a widespread problem of tenants not participating. There is clear evidence of tenants not completing applications, which points to inaccessible and overly complicated applications that need to be simplified.
Okay, I see. And would you say that in relation to tenant participation, is lack of landlord participation in the program more of a frequent problem that we're noticing?
We have seen evidence of this, yes. In a survey that we and others did, about 44% of program administrators said that landlords refusing to participate in ERA programs was a challenge. And from some of the more recent conversations, I would say that that number has likely grown.
So that means that when landlords refuse to participate, some emergency rental assistance programs are not required to provide assistance directly to tenants, and they could face eviction or homelessness if their landlord vetoes the application. Is that right?
That is right. Unfortunately, it's optional for program administrators to utilize direct tenant assistance if landlords participate. And we're seeing that only about 28% of all ERA programs are explicitly allowing direct tenant assistance. That means there are many tenants who are having their application closed, are not getting any of the assistance they need because the landlord has refused to participate.
And this is consistent with something I've been seeing, folks. So if you are a tenant and you want to make right on your back rent, and you